cancellations in Uganda. It is a government that is popularly known for raping women in Uganda. Oh, Sister Jessica Brigadier Alupo, a woman who has been deputizing all of sorts of democratic degradation in this 21st century. Shamelessly, you continued to speak, lying before the people. The people, you know that we have been complaining before them that your government is killing us for no reason whatsoever. Oh, Jessica Lupo, as I speak right now, Catholic Church, Archdiocese Ruwero has just cancelled an invitation because it has been intimidated by Museveni's agents known as RPC and RDC respectively in that region, that is Ruwero Archdiocese. Mrs. Jessica Alupo, you are a soldier. You were a part of those who executed a genocide from 1981 to 1986 in Ruwero Triangle, the same archdiocese which Museveni's agents have cancelled the invitation which was issued by the church to Uganda's esteemed leader, Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, a presidential candidate. This is the democracy you are trying to show the international community, or you are trying to be as hard as any perverted politician. No human being would expect a woman not to be rational in matters of leadership. My sister Alupo, Jessica, there is no human being would expect a woman to be as sadistic as you are. Jessica Alupo and all your offspring, you are becoming a disgrace in our midst. You are becoming a disgrace in our midst. You, being a war veteran, you are well versed with the history, how it ends after serving Museveni's goal. You are not devoid of the mysterious deaths of those who devoted their lives to serve Mr. Museveni's goals. Oh, my sister Jessica Lupo, in the United Nations where you are right now, in the United Nations where you are right now, New York, you have left many women in prison. Many women in prison. Women who are complaining that their children go to the hospital and they die. They take each and every eternal organ and they give them a corpse weighs almost 50 grams. Oh, Jessica Alupo, it is you with Anita Among who are falsely concocting charges against those who are contesting the position you are looking forward to. Jessica Lupo, you and Anita Among, we cannot differentiate. No, we cannot. As we speak right now, Anita Among just opened the charges against two contestants, those who are vying the position she is after, a representative of Bukedia people. These people, they received the summons telling them that they are not registered voters. Is that the democracy you refer to while addressing world leaders? Yes, we are not objecting to the sense that Africa needs a position, a permanent position on the UN Security Council. We are in unison with that. But it is not wise to try to clean the yard of your neighbors, whereas your bedroom, it is stuffy. You cannot live in it. It is filthy. To a mind rational enough would think that a wise person would start with his or her own room in order to have the sense of readiness to help others or to converge with other countries. Generally, I said to you, in Uganda, we are still fighting to restore the right to life, the right to live, the right to own a family, the right to own a property, the right to own a business. That is what we are still grappling with. Fellow Africans, that is what we are grappling with currently. And it was taken away by the same Africans leader, by the same Ugandan leader, Museveni, who is being represented at the UN by Jessica Alupo, Brigadier. We are still saying we are not supposed to be killed recklessly. We are not supposed to be incarcerated unnecessarily. Bogus charges should not cramp people as if they are in a fishing net or something. Jessica Lupo, you are a disgrace, my sister. Look what Museveni have turned northern Uganda as a tool of manipulation, to silence the voices well amplified internationally. And we are on a verge, the international community, to indict Museveni. Now you go there, well knowing that Mr. Museveni is using you. Oh, Sister Jessica Alupo. We have the conundrum. Stop taking away the bricks we are laying. A generational foundation which commenced before your own eyes. It started taking form before your own eyes. It is now well erected. In various regions, you can see the edifice of a generational mindset pertaining leadership are self-evident. Very soon, in your very region, Alupo, it is going to be launched as well. This is the leadership we are all looking forward to establish in Uganda. Whether the international community like it or not, slowly we are moving. We have informed United Nations that Museveni's delegate or representative, Winnie Byanyima Byesige, was a war veteran as you are, that she has played successfully a part as Museveni's international relations with the help of Myriad Black to block all our complaints, to block all the indictments we have been trying to forward at the UN Security Council, at the International Criminal Court, at the International Court of Justice. This in our activism. These are the things we have been doing to isolate Mr. Museveni so that we can uproot him out of our political institution. But now you are playing a role to water down the fire we have started, which is for the betterment of your offspring. Oh, Sister Jessica Arubo, there is a time for lying, a time to lie, and a time to stop lying. There is a time to do wicked things, and a time to let go of wicked things. Jessica Arubo, what is it that you have not witnessed? The revolutions that have taken definite form and dictatorship have been toppled. The sons and daughters of those who have persecuted people, haven't you witnessed those who are being hoisted on cranes? Children of the noble, children who thought they lived the utopia any human being would ever thought to have. They were strangled in broad daylight. But the struggle led by Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, it is a non-violent one. Consistently, he's been informing you, leaders, educated people, that our revolution, it is non-violent, but it is assertive and steadfast, irreversibly, and focused on the prize, that is the protestive vote. My sister Jessica Arubo, in the United Nations, fellow Africans, we are not objecting our recognition on the Permanent Security Council of the United Nations. Nor are we negating the efforts which is being input by our leaders on the continent respectively. There are two leaders who caught my attention in those who have spoken. The leader of the people of Angola and the leader of the people of Kenya. His Excellency President Emmanuel Rolenko, the leader of the people of Angola, delivered a message and indicated that Africa should be recognized nicely. And we appreciate that. We appreciate that. But our dissatisfaction has a lot to do with the hypocrisy some of you are practicing in this digitized era. And we do not agree with it, because if we reflect on the teachings of Jesus Christ, said that do not be like a hypocrite who points at the catalyst in somebody's eye while he has a spank in his own eye. He said that, why don't you first clean your eyes first, and then you'll be able to see clearly to help a friend. Suppose Angola's democracy is good. Who knows? Which I doubt. How comes that Elder Emmanuel Rolenko, he is castigating some West leaders, whereas on the continent of Africa, credible information indicates that our efforts of isolating Museveni is being somehow derailed by some other African leaders, particularly this one, Mr. Emmanuel Rolenko. Our information in its credibility indicates that, sir, the leader of the Republic of Angola, information indicates that your military people, or the military forces of Angola, are in second in line in those that are protecting Dictator Yoweri Museveni, a man who have perpetuated bloodshed in our land. The people of Angola, your armed forces are now protecting a murderer in Uganda. But the leader is in the United Nations trying to show the world that the West, it is not good at all. I'm not exonerating the West, global citizens. What I'm saying, we should be true to ourselves. My brother Emmanuel, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Angola, do you want to mean that you don't hear or you don't see the revolution that is taking definite form in Uganda? Why do you continue protecting a man whom we point at that all our misery comes there from? That he is the orchestrator of all political assassinations, that he is the facilitator of all sodomization in prisons, that he orchestrates each and everything that degrades humanity. That degrades humanity. Oh, leadership, let us first clean our rooms. Let us first clean our rooms. Let us first clean our rooms. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Angola, do you know that the family you are protecting within the political sphere in Uganda, that is Museveni's family, he is protected by two rings. One ring comprises of Rwandese. Another ring, it is a composition of Angolan elites in military, protecting a murderer, a killer. For far too long, we've been informing United African Union that Mr. Museveni steals taxpayers' money, extract all mineral resources, go and invest in Angola. We know. And Chile, we know. And Sweden, we know. We know. His Excellency Emmanuel Rolenko, the President of the Republic of Angola, stop funding our subjugation. Stop funding our subjugation. ASP Asime, his satellite shows you that if the ring that keeps Museveni in power, it is a composition of Angolan military men. Dear leadership, we want to be in peace. For 40 long years, oh, leadership, can't you imagine what we are going through? Can't you relate and have a sense of humor and isolate Museveni? Dear leader of the people of the Republic of Angola, as we speak right now, that family you're protecting, Museveni's son, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, also the head of military, he is now contemplating to use the president of Charlie Cox, who was assassinated while delivering a speech in the United States. Now, Museveni's family is saying that we can use this president and the world will not shout too much because it has already happened. Emmanuel Rolenko, these are the people you are protecting. This is what they are plotting. Whereas you are in the United States of America castigating white people, indicating that white people are to be blamed for all these problems that is engulfing Africa, socially, politically, economically, and technologically. You are trying to show us that it is the white people who are responsible for the stagnation of our, leadership. The impasse of leadership for the past 40 years in Uganda has nothing to do with the white man. Even if he is there, a pacify the people of Africa. You are protecting a family which is plotting to use a president of assassination in the country where you are to commit it to a visionary leader, young in age, brilliant, accepted, servant leadership. The leader of Angola. Museveni is protected by 2 countries as we speak, global citizens, fellow Africans. The leader, the chairman of African Union, Sheikh Mahmoud Ali Yusuf. Oh, Sheikh Mahmoud Ali Yusuf. I read the post you showed there, applauding His Excellency Emmanuel Rolenko, the keynote he delivered. Remember, dear leadership, Sheikh Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the chairperson of African Union. It is not in our intention to negate your efforts, to negate your leadership. But we are solid rock to speak that which is not rightful. That we should start with the basics. Dear leadership, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, Sheikh Museveni's son, he is plotting to use the Charlie Kirk's president to execute his assassination. That it won't make any news because it has happened in the United States and people have moved on. That is what they are trying to do. African Union, we have been telling you a lots of plots Museveni have been orchestrating to mate upon the people of the Republic of Uganda. But we have not seen that unified voice as it is in the United Nations. We have a house, African Union, African Union, African Union. His Excellency, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, our complaints that if Museveni's son kills our leader, the blood will be on the offspring of all you who are serving. Indeed, failing to respond to our cries, failing to respond to our cries, all of you leaders in African Union. Pope indicated here that politics, on the other hand, by promoting equitable distribution of resources, can offer an effective service domestically and internationally. Domestically and internationally. Let us consider the continent of Africa as our domestic affairs, right? Have you observed the distribution of resources in Uganda? Do you follow the pages of our leaders other than that of Mr. Museveni or Mrs. Alupo or Mrs. Nabanja or Mr. Kiryowachiwanuka? Those are the people who represent Museveni internationally. Kiryowachiwanuka is the Attorney General. Nabanja, she is the Prime Minister. Jessica Alupo was the Vice President prior to Museveni's thing, right? Why don't you take this chance and investigate our complaints? Pope indicated that those who live in the extreme condition cry out their voices to be heard, often not to find ear willing to hear their plea. This imbalance generates a condition of persistent injustice, which readily leads to violence and soon or later to the tragedy of war. Pope Francis is pointing out that if politics is well utilized as it's supposed to be, it can offer an effective service, starting with domestic issues. Why is it Museveni continue killing people before your own eyes? Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, Brother Joseph, why? Why are you treating us like that? Are we subhuman? Are we sub-creature? Don't we breathe the way you do? Why can't you address our grievances, our complaints, our accusations against a man who is evil, against a man who have no regard to humanity whatsoever? Do you think we are mad? A man who is fronting ethnicity aspirations as opposed to a continental goal? Do you consider Museveni as a Pan-African? Would you point out anything being championed by Museveni indicates Pan-Africanism in a real sense? In a real sense, we don't see one. We don't see him delivering a speech that can capture generational minds. No. Whatever he has ever uttered, whatever he speaks, it is in the interest of driving their ethnicity goal to conquer East Africa and Central Africa. Who knows Africa as a whole? We don't need to tell you much about our researches with regards to that people or ethnicity, no. What we are saying, just hold them accountable. Our mission is to get them out of our political institution without a military confrontation. Without a military confrontation. Leadership. We are not negating all you do. No, we are not. Going to another speaker who spoke, that is His Excellency William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya. He pointed out that it is unthinkable Africans to be left outside. And my eyes could not stop shedding tear while this man is speaking. While that man was speaking, Elder Samuel Ruto, the President of Kenya, what do you have to say with the rampant abduction in Kenya, which you supervise? Elder William Ruto, you people, do you sleep and enjoy? Do you think you're working so hard for the families of yours to be happy? Mr. William Ruto, a man who is abducting young men. You, Mr. William Ruto, who is driving Mr. Museveni's script. It is being rooted now in Kenya. It is taking shape in Kenya. Mr. Museveni's script. It is engulfing the political institutions of Kenya gradually. Why can't you have some shame and you say, what is there to benefit? Because, Mr. William Ruto, you spoke and you showed that enthusiasm of Africa to be a permanent member of United Nations. That is beautiful. Brilliant. But who are you? Are you really a Pan-African? A man who persecutes schools? A man who is now institutionalizing arsonism as it has been in Uganda for the past 40 years. Schools are burning. Hostels of students are burning. The things which is traceable to Museveni's way of capturing democratic institution, it is now taking definite form in Kenya. It is taking definite form in Tanzania. Madara. All of them, as we speak, they are in the United Nations, spitting fire, castigating a white man, trying to show Africa how evil a white man is. Indeed, Plato was right. The real tragedy of life is when men fear the light. Brothers and sisters, here, Elder Pierre Lumumba pointed out and he highlighted the key aspects on which these leaders should focus on. He pointed out the loss of sovereign authority. Point 1. The historical marginalization that should be addressed. Global inequality. Demand for justice and equity. That is the 4th one. Strategic repositioning. Those are the 5 key points. Prof. P.L. Lumumba, teacher of mankind, pointed out that while there, this African representative, they should press emphasis on those 5 key points, right? Prof. P.L. Lumumba, as always, we appreciate your undivided devotion in bringing awareness and sensitization into the minds of the young generation. Indeed, the work you are doing, it is inestimable. We cannot price tag it. We cannot give it an estimation or the limitation with regards to the generation. No. You are doing a great job. We really understand. But I have some kind of a mixed feeling, not refuting the 5 points you have outlined here, but there is a missing link here, and it starts domestically. When we look at the first key point, loss of sovereign authority, that the continent should be able to solve its internal problems. That is the sovereign authority. We lost it, right? We lost it long time ago. From the 1700 to date. Not to date. We received the independence. Yeah, we received the independence. It makes sense to a mind which is nationalistic in mental vibration, head of state. We received independence, and those countries which managed to utilize that independence, they are way ahead of those which have been mired into dictatorship, right? Now, point 1, you indicated the loss of sovereign authority that is in the aspect of the continent. Now, can we put this sovereign authority within our respective countries before we go to a continental aspect? Let us start here domestically, right? Uganda has its full sovereignty. Uganda has its full sovereignty because it has a constitution. It had the executive, and it has the judiciary. I think those are the cardinal pillars that constitutes a functional state, right? So, the sovereignty within our individual countries on the continent of Africa, according to your observation, teacher of mankind, do you think that this sovereignty has been put to use appropriately by our respective leader in East Africa? This is where am I, Prof, in East Africa. Do you think the body in East Africa and some parts in South Africa, do you think our sovereign authority, do you think it has been utilized appropriately by our people who are leading right now? Do you think there is any loss that the citizens do not comply with the law, or the citizens do not conform to regulations, conditions, and bylaws? Do you think it is the citizens who are rebellious, or it is our leaders who abrogate the Constitution, who molest the Constitution through amendment fashion? Don't you think the sovereign authority has been abused by those who wield power on the highest echelon in East Africa? This is the point here. Loss of sovereign authority. Do you think we can get this authority on a continental scale when we are lacking it domestically? It sounds here like you are constructing on the sand. To me, in my opinion, leadership. In my opinion, to me, it sounds like this is an edifice being constructed on the sand. Right? If there are some grievances within the country and they are not solved, but they are being covered, suffocated, stifled, a white man, trust me, even if you get a permanent position, of which we will, of course, they will relent because their economy depends on the resources of Africa, right? Now, if they give us a permanent member, don't you think that permanent membership might be put to use wrongly? Don't you think it will come with some repercussion? I'm not objecting it that they should give it to us. No, I'm not. But what I'm saying, if these people, some leaders, East Africa leaders, only East Africa, if they have managed to violate the powers that lies in the presidents, don't you think they are going to coerce those who will be sitting on the Security Council and they make them make wrong decisions? I'm thinking. Pierre Olumumba, would you address Mr. Museveni and ask him that for the past 5 years, the people of Uganda are shedding blood? If you can address Britain, the Prime Minister of Britain, Kayla, the Prime Minister of Israel, Elder Netanyahu, the President, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa, His Excellency, all leaders in the world. Why is it? Because I'm following you for the past, I think, 8 to 10 years. Oh, Prof. Pierre, you never pointed out that Mr. Museveni, we are experiencing a lot of political assassination in East Africa. I'm quite sure you are investigative. And all the fraternity you work with, I'm sure you have trained the people. Because the more I follow the words you spoke back 5 years ago, It is the sense I feel like I'm in. But now, there is a sense of diplomacy that I think taking too much root in your understanding. To the extent, oh, elder, teacher of mankind, you reached whereby you say that criticism in itself, it is not constructive. And what came to my mind, I felt like dictators have succeeded. They have exhausted him. They have exhausted him. That's what came in my conscious minds. And I said, you know what? We have to rise in his place in millions. In his place in millions. And we speak that which he spoke. That which he spoke a decade ago. Because the tactics being utilized by these people you've been castigating, they are the tactics of the old. So if we bring in a diplomatic approach while the tactics are still barbaric, we cannot guarantee ourselves to emerge victorious. We cannot guarantee ourselves to emerge victorious. So the sovereignty, it is not lost, but it is poorly utilized by these leaders. If our sovereignty is being utilized appropriately, a white man won't get a privilege to which to use and subvert the ideology. A solidified one? No. But when he sees that loophole, he utilizes it and create insurgents within the continent. Right? It is a white man who uses a black man and perpetuate insurgents in East Africa. In East Africa, nowhere else. East and Central Africa. So, all of these insurgencies, the so-called M23, the so-called LRA rebels, the so-called RPF, DFA, there's another faction there, Democratic Alliance Force, DA. There's another faction there from 7. So you can see all these rebel groups, they stem from East Africa. When 7 creates a narrative, they say they are afraid to Central African Republic. They are back into East Africa. They are now in Somalia. Now they have attached to Somalia. The Allied Democratic Force, yes, ADF. The Allied Democratic Force, Museveni's militant faction. It is now being attached to Al-Shabaab, right? Now from Al-Shabaab, this one is going to be attached to LRA rebels. Now, very soon, Museveni is going to create another faction in Tanzania and in Kenya, you understand, to converge the conflict and engulf the entire East Africa before your own eyes. Oh, Prof. P.L.O. Oh, Lumumba, teacher of mankind. We esteem your teachings. But there is a sense in which we used to change the tactics of approach. We are dealing with reckless killers. Yes, fire does not put out fire, but at times it must to be utilized. A man who grew up in the jungle, you can create a barrier by starting a fire. The raging one can stop where this one started and you be safe. And we be safe. So, I hear on a domestic basis, I disagree. Our sovereignty is not lost. And if we can reflect a little bit to European history, in 1919, there was a conflict in Germany still. European Union had an agreement that, domestic matters cannot be intervened by any bordering country, right? They had that which is present in East Africa right now. What is happening in Kenya, Uganda cannot intervene. What's happening in Uganda, Kenya cannot intervene. But European Union come to a point to see that in itself hinders the unification of the continent of Europe. So they sat down and made adjustment, whereby if the citizens complains that this one is killing us, the neighboring countries can mobilize each other and take off the president who is killing his own people. So don't you think this sovereignty here is being misused by East African leaders? So we need an adjustment here, whereby African Union must come up with the solution that if any leader overstays in power, must be removed by the body. We need African Union to come up with the resolution that no leader should serve more than 2 terms in any country if we are to unify Africa. If this can take definite form for 20 years, means that these ones can be made as governors, and then we have a vision of one president, one currency, and one manufacturing ideology, and one social understanding. After 20 years of examining our local politics, the Europeans did it. There is no European country can kill other European members recklessly as it is in Africa, because the 1919 agreement, was it in Versailles? Marseille. It was in Versailles, France, that agreement. And it came back again when that agreement took form and Germany was kidnapped, and it was named as the Republic of Weimar. Yes. Now, a man who became a problem was bedridden. That was Adolf Hitler, having burnt by a bomb in the war. And he did not like that. He did not like that. The next agreement came in 1945, the very formation of the United Nations, right? So, can't we emulate from what white man did that which is good for our continent? Where does the white man controls our sovereignty? Yes, to some extent I agree that the white man can control us via satellite. I mean, using his satellite, he can control us by means of communication. We don't have those technology. He can control us by means of medical equipment. What else? What else? What else? What else? Medical equipment and medicine. And medicine. Permanent saturated position. We don't produce our medicine. There is no university I've seen in Africa that is championing with medicine, well purified medicine, as the white people does, as the Indian do, as the Chinese do. Yet children have been graduating for the past 80 years. For the past 80 years. For the past 80 years. That well unified voice, which is speaking right now in the United Nations, can't it speak in African Union to bring about a unified research for medicine, a unified research for medical equipment, a unified research for digital understanding, in order to alleviate ourselves from the dependence of a white man's technology? We are still far to go, but I think if our government motivates its people, you're going to see the sprouting of new brains, because people won't be afraid to go back in the villages to be more concentrated in inventing things, as opposed to chasing money, as opposed to focus on economic understanding while neglecting technological and medicine fields. Independence, that is what we want. If we get a permanent position on the UN Security Council, what is it going to guarantee? To veto the US's demands? To side with Russia? Yes, it's good to choose sides. But still we are dependent. Right? We are still dependent. We are still dependent. You can see the launching of the mega dam there Ethiopia. Thanks, Your Excellency, the Prime Minister of the people of Ethiopia. You have achieved one big, huge milestone. But you know what? Electricity, everything, it is being outsourced. That is why, dependent on a white man, it is still within our reach up until you leaders in the African Union start to show symbols of progress in upgrading the minds, as opposed to enforce people to start chasing money that they are doing business. Entrepreneurial brains are not the only brain. There are those inventive brains. There are brains of the people who are not knowledgeable in business, but God imparted the knowledge in them. There is no way you can discover these people when they are still running, when they are still being massacred by their own presidents. By their own president. So, I totally disagree. We do have the sovereignty authority on the continent of Africa. Historical marginalization. Historical marginalization, point 2. Historical marginalization. Those are the white. We don't see these things being addressed on the African basis. They apply with regards to Africa if we are to eliminate the possession of guns on the continent, to eliminate the retardation of the brilliance of Africa. We need to address these things on a continental basis, not internationally. They are not fronted on a continental basis. They only come out when you are guys battling with white folks. White folks are not going anywhere. We are still with them. Our understanding is based on them. My brothers and sisters, it is undeniable that you cannot code easily if you don't understand some languages, English, or you don't have the enlightenment of those people, because African leaders do not pump money in research. When Museveni took power, Makerere University was skyrocketing in research. We could hear young men and women bringing this and that ever since Museveni took power. There is nothing being invented in Uganda. Mr. Museveni disintegrated each and everything. Now, why don't we castigate this old man for the 40 years? Oh, PLO, Mumba, teacher of mankind. Why don't we castigate specifically? We don't need to generalize, because we know the cause of the problem. Generalization brings a mixed feeling within those who are yearning to learn. It brings a mixed feeling. Who is he talking about? We need you to point out Museveni. We need you to point out Paul Biya. We need you to point out these creatures that have turned countries into a business, a home business. We need them to be pointed out candidly. Historical marginalization. This entire focus is on the UN position. But human rights domestically is not put into regard. It is not. It is not. Prof. Pierre, look at the exportation, the outsourcing of jobs. Mr. Samuel Ruto is now creating opportunities such that young men in Kenya must go outside in what considered as greener pasture. Greener pasture. And where else do we go? In the desert. Is it greener than Kenya? Is it greener? Really? Is it greener? Or papers? That is what taking us there. So we need to change our mindset as leaders. As leaders. You leaders, I'm not a leader. You have to change the minds. Global inequality. justice and equality. Demanding of justice, point 4, and equality. The people of Uganda have been demanding justice, informing African Union on a daily basis that a man regards no justice whatsoever. And to your information, teacher of mankind, P.L. Lumumba, Mr. Museveni, in 1987, indicated candidly while addressing lawyers at Makerere University that law is not always synonymous with justice. That law can be of social justice, but it may not be. Law can be used by the minority to oppress the majority. It is what is happening right now in Uganda. You heard His Excellency, you heard Honorable Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, presidential candidate, indicating that weeks ago he was invited by the Catholic Church in Luwero Archdiocese when they were going to launch a certain parish, right? But now Museveni's agents, working as DPC and what, they wrote to the Catholic Church saying you must cancel this invitation. So meaning that justice, it is not there. Equality, it is not there. Resources are not equally distributed. That is what Pope Leo pointed out, that politics, on the other hand, by promoting equitable distribution of resources, how can we demand justice from the international community when justice is not at home? When justice is not at home? When justice is not at home? Oh, P.L. Lumumba, can we fix the outside when the house is about to cave in? Can we? This one beats my logic. Fellow Africans, do not get me twisted. I'm not saying what they are doing is wrong, but there are some basics of which they neglect deliberately. They neglect it deliberately. Scholars, religious leaders, and these influential people, they neglect to address this vehemently. They neglect it. They say, how am I going to be seen questioning Mr. Ruto, given my position as a professor? They are scared. They are scared. For what? But the law is there. No man should be above the law. No man should be above the law. That is the essence of education. The independence of mind guided by reasoning. Because the law means exactly reasoning. Then why should we be scared of dying when we are on the truth? We've seen people, righteous people, die. You are all pointing out to Madiba's legacy, but none of you emulate what he did. He led the people and let go of power. That's not what you do. You want to recite his words, but just his words. You don't follow what he did. Mr. Museveni, all of you dictators, Mr. Paul Biya, what did you learn from Mandela Madiba legacy? What did you learn from Mandela Madiba legacy? We are not telling you that you are going to do everything. No. Do what you do in 10 years, 8 years. Leave the place. Let other people come and serve. That is why parents are paying school fees. Their children to fit in the society and to serve productively. With the merits. We are striving to get a permanent position. But locally or domestically, civil servants are being placed into positions based on nepotism, not on merit. It is a common practice in East Africa. In East Africa, not here in South Africa. No, in East Africa, it is a common practice. Here in South Africa, people are awarded to work according to their merits, their expertise, and their willingness to work. But in East Africa, somebody else, Prof. PLO Lumumba. We need to point out this murderous or the wicked man. We need to hold him accountable. We need to hold him accountable. Listen to the plot he is plotting. To use Charlie Cox as a threshold to assassinate Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, to assassinate young leaders in National Unity Platform. People you saw who have acted in the broad daylight. They have refused their integrity to be compromised. These ones are not amplified. These ones are not amplified. What they choose instead to amplify are these men who are more proficient in the acts of war, which claims life. But till I said you, Pope indicated that neglecting to address these matters, sooner or later it will lead to the tragedy of war, because in this digitized era, no one is willing to submit on unjust laws. No man is going to enforce his creed in a weakened region of East Africa and Central Africa and Africa as a whole. What we want, it is the peace of the people, the rule of law to reign over the country. I heard His Excellency, the President of Ghana, saying the things so nice, but he cannot address what are these people who are saying they are being killed. Ghana is changing leadership. Ghana is changing leadership. Museveni is there. You leaders, cannot you hold Museveni accountable? Can't you bring a debate in African Union? What are we to do with you or the people who have refused to leave power? What is it you are afraid of? Why don't you tell them that relinquish power, seek for forgiveness, remorsefully repent? What you have done, let the people let it go, be bygone, and we move on. This is what the assurance our leader gave you, Mr. Museveni. In conclusion, I will recite a part to General Museveni in his speech, His Excellency Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, in the speech he delivered upon his nomination on the 24th year 2025 September. And to you, General Museveni, I know you don't want to listen to young people, but at least listen to your friend General Kainda Otafile. Uganda was here before you, and Uganda will remain long after you are gone. You must not burn it on your way out. Mr. Museveni, Uganda was here before you. Uganda will remain long after you're gone. You must not contemplate to burn it down on your way out. Mr. Museveni, if your son or Mr. George Akondonahu or Salimu Saleh, your brother, dares to assassinate Chagulanyi Sentamu as they are preparing, that Salimu Saleh and the Mohors are determined to use the instant of a lawmaker in the US, Charlie Cox, who was assassinated recently, that the world now is used to it. It won't make any difference if we assassinate Chagulanyi Sentamu in that matter. Oh, Mr. Museveni, His Excellency pointed out that Uganda was here before you, and Uganda will remain long after you are gone. You shouldn't be contemplating to burn it down on your way out. Museveni, remember the food you ate. Remember people's animals you stole. Remember the parastatal companies you confiscated. Remember the parastatal company you confiscated and incentivized them into Indians. Mr. Museveni, Mr. Museveni, remember the parastatal companies you confiscated. Nobody said a thing. Remember the food of the people who used to grow food for subsistence. You ate it. Remember the individual cattle of individuals you whisked away. Remember how we used to wear uniforms of Obote and massacre people in Ruero. And you massacre people in Ruero. Remember how the massacres you have conducted in northern Uganda. And you put all the blame on Kony. Remember the schools your wife have burned in Uganda while sacrificing to Obisolve. Oh, Mr. Museveni, Janet Museveni, remember the children you have burnt in those schools while sacrificing to the demons. You took that same tendency to Kenya. Oh, Janet Museveni. Oh, Mr. Museveni. Mr. Museveni, myriads of souls are crying in the souls of your unborn great-grandchildren. Till I said you, the pendulum swing manifest in everything. The measure of the swing to the left is the measure of the swing to the right. Rhythm compensates the fifth hermetic principle of truth. African leaders, we need the rule of law, most importantly, even urgently, more than a permanent position on the United Nations Security Council. A white man cannot live without Africa. Let us set ourselves on the ground domestically. A white man will come on a mutual agreement to extract our mineral resources. In the meanwhile, while we have not invented our own systems to add value to them. And that is not to be blamed on the people you lead. It is to be blamed on you leaders who are self-centered. May the Lord hear our cries. May the Lord strengthen us. May the Lord allow his angels to descend down on each one of you, African leaders, to put the love of God's creature first before the love of guns and money. May my words make sense to you, leaders, as we are guided by the words of Pope, for they ring true to our ears. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.